The Swiss avant-garde black metal band Schammasch, name taken from Shamash, the Mesopotamian god of justice, will release their third full-length album, simply titled Triangle, on April 29th. As the name suggests, the concept of this highly ambitious work is tripartite, each side clocking in at 33 minutes and 30 seconds. Yes, that makes for more than 100 minutes of music. Inspired by Richard McDonald's sculptures, the cover album portrays circus artist Sacha Krohn falling into nothingness, photographed by Esther Segarra. Every side of the triangle has its own identity and feels very unique. They deal with various concepts pertaining to life, death, and the balance of all things. It's a very spiritual journey, deep and possibly life-altering. Let's decorticate it in order to understand it. The first side consists of 6 songs on the subject of loss, death, and acceptance. Musically, it is the more traditional, albeit progressive-sounding black metal sound that we've heard on their previous albums, Sic Luceat Lux and Contradiction. Dissonant chords, blast beats, harsh vocals, and a wide array of riffs. Crepusculum is the slow build-up, serving as an introduction to the monolithic movement. Atmospheric, it sets the tone and puts you in the water in preparation for what's to come. The vocals start right when Father's breath hits, serving as a bridge between the overture and the heavy hitting in dialogue with death. The song evolves slowly but ends in a flurry of blast beats, where the next one picks up. It's one of the most intense moments on the album, impassionately crushing your whole being. During the third song, there is a spoken word passage, and those will be somewhat recurrent on the album. They really set a more obscure tone and add to the diversity found therein. Diliculum is only slightly less tense, if only because it has less of the furious percussive blasts, but it's no less emotionally intense. Representing dawn as opposed to the dusk of Crepusculum, I believe it's our first foray into acceptance, and like its antipodal counterpart, it's an instrumental track. Consensus breaks the vocal silence and brings a good deal of clean vocals, choir-like, reminiscent of Gregorian chants even, which will be much more present in the next sides of the triangle. I believe it presents us with the attained acceptance of death, of loss. It's very Christian in its imagery too, with liturgic Latin passages and phrases such as "in 3 rays of light" in direct reference to the Holy Trinity. I say Christian, but it might as well be Satanist, since both rely on the same mythology, but have fundamentally opposite views on it. Finally, awaking from the dream of life is the last movement of the process of dying. It teaches us that death is the only awakening, and that by learning to live with it, to know it, we will be alleviated of the burden of life. Thus ends part 1 of Triangle, a self-growing experience and a mentor on well-being and acceptance. The middle part of the album brings the notion of balance between the physical and the ethereal worlds. This side has a lot of atmospheric and ambient influences, ditching almost completely the harsh vocals in favor of clean chants like we heard in Consensus. This doesn't mean it's entirely absolved of all severity. There are still plenty of musical anger on this side, which is split in 5 motions. The world destroyed by water acts in a similar manner as Crepusculum, an opener, an introduction, but complemented with spoken words. I believe this is a reference to the Diluvian creation myths found throughout the world, in many religions and belief systems, a physical phenomenon that either has a divine origin or explanation. Here, the flood is how God repenteth for creating man and beast. Satori is the epiphany, enlightenment, according to Zen Buddhism. Alternatively, The title could also come from the Latin noun sator, which means founder, progenitor, originator. There are plenty of low vocal harmonies in this song, which give it a solemn, almost sacred feel. These choirs are really well executed, and I must congratulate the band for taking the time and effort to do them like they did. On this song, as well as many others on Triangle, there are Latin lyrics, which is a great addition to the atmosphere of it all and the sacred feel of the experience. Metanoia follows up with extreme drumming and tremolo picking, atop which are, again, chanted lyrics. The title refers to a spiritual conversion, or fundamental change of mind, and the lyrics talk of transformation. On Metaflesh, the song also acts like a hinge, and there is definitely a change in sound afterwards. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's tangible. Above the Stars of God is a very atmospheric song, almost psychedelic, with the guitar solo there, played to great effect. It's also one of the only moments on the site where there are harsh vocals, crying, "I will raise my throne above the stars of God." Conclusion closes the second third of the triptych with acoustic guitars. This part is very smooth and feels very hindsightly, retrospective and appeased, teaching us that we are the light that we become. We've come to know the spiritual and physical worlds, learn to accept them both, and live with them both. The last third represents the mastering of oneself, and the state of pure, total freedom. It's a striking departure from anything the band has ever done. The final part of their concept is shrouded in a mystical aura and almost entirely instrumental. If the first two parts could be loosely attributed the label of black metal, this one escapes it. The third ray of light commences and finishes as a world music ambient piece, tinged with folkloric elements of various cultures. Here it sounds Mongolian, there Egyptian, and what's most surprising is that everything is flawlessly performed, not just on this song either, but on the whole record. Cathartic Confession takes back a small fraction of the metal edge in the form of one slightly distorted or overdriven guitar. Breaking with the traditions put in place by the first two sides, this one also is an instrumental song. There are vocals, but they serve as yet another melodic instrument and do not convey lyrics. When they do, however, it is whispered and reversed, like in the beginning of Jacob's Dream, which is a very ambient song, not really playing in the folk music territory anymore. It feels a bit drawn out and somewhat stagnant, but it's the first and only point where it does, and that's a statement to the quality of this record. Maelstrom is the second to last part of Triangle. Like most of the Supernal Clear of the Void, it is very quiet, minimalistic despite its name, and somehow I can't help but feel like its meaning is deeper than it seems. That is, of course, until the tribal drums pick up halfway through, with chantings reinforcing that indigenous vibe. Ultimately, the Empyrean, the ninth heaven, the kiln of the ether, the purest light, the finality of the supernal clear of the void and Triangle, the only section in the third third where there are lyrics and spoken to great effect. Underneath the very low supernal speech are tremolo-picked riffs and atmosphere-thickening drum hits, summarizing everything we've experienced thus far in this Magna Carta of an album in a rewarding fashion. At the very end of the lyric sheet is the Gayatri Japa mantra. In Roman script, this would be Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. It has been translated numerous times, but I have a fondness for William Kwan Judge's one. Unveil, O thou who givest sustenance to the universe, from whom all proceed, to whom all must return, that face of the true sun now hidden in the vase of golden light, that we may see the truth and do our whole duty on our journey to thy sacred seat. It has an important place in Hinduism, as it represents the essence of the traditional Upanayana ceremony. As stated in interviews with the lyricist, guitarist and singer Christopher Ruff, written as CSR in the booklet, Triangle is a very personal album where he expresses his own beliefs, taken from many religions and spiritual views, and long times of meditation and self-questioning. That's why we get hints to Christian and Hindu mythologies, amongst probably many others that I haven't caught. I believe it has been a difficult but delivering work of self-examination and humble sharing of experience. It seems impossible to pull off. Swallow the Sun tried, Dream Theater tried, countless others tried and failed to various degrees. Crafting an album is elaborate and difficult. Making it a double, or worse, a triple album is nigh unthinkable to do right. Yet, Schammasch very much succeeded. Every part of Triangle is excellent, from the progressive black metal of The Process of Dying to the ambient and world-esque The Supernal Clear of the Void, betwixt which lays Metaflesh, bridging the two realms with its atmospheric avant-garde black metal. Each is birthed with the perfection of the Hellenic sculptors, shaping the amorphous sounds into a collection of cohesive music. It's so eminent that we could wonder if the music did not flow on its own into the form of perfection, and what role did the musicians play as a medium? Not unlike water to a riverbed. Is it the sheer volition of the meaning that moves mountains, or is it the message that directs the unsentient? I feel it's a bit of both, and like the cover art of the album, it's a gray area. The musicians let the music speak by itself, but they themselves are unique channels through which inspiration flows, thus altering it very personally. Moreover, the physical presentation is an experience in itself. Each of the 3 discs is inside a sleeve of its own, with dedicated artwork and track list, and the lyrics booklet provides new insight into the mind of its writer. Triangle will change you on a musical and spiritual level. It's a silk-out occurrence, but it's a sublime and near-perfect triple album. Hey there, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the music or the review, please like and subscribe, and be sure to check our website at ctebcm.com. See you later.